Hello y'all, and welcome to Ivycreates. I am going to be doing a project today that it's kind of composed of several different things. The first thing I'm doing is I'm cutting apart a placemat that I got from Dollar Tree, and my handwriting is horrible, so when I can find wording that I don't have to actually write, I try to keep it as good as possible. And I just thought this placemat, it's actually one of those really good, nice vinyl placemats. And I thought this placemat had some really cute things on it, and I could use the pieces individually. So I'm cutting out the wording and the squares, and then I'll save the rest of it for later. And you'll see some of the options that I have to do with that. Now behind there is a framed board, and it is wood, that I'd gotten from Hobby Lobby, and it was in the wood shop area. And I believe it was when they have their half off sales things. So it was a wood shop and it was half off, and I think I paid $8 for it. But it is wood, and it's already framed, and so there's so many options you can do with something like that. And one side, you actually see the back side of it, which to me is just as pretty as the front side. And it's the natural wood color. The front side is kind of a whitewashed look, so you'll see that in a few minutes. And again, I'm just cutting out like parts of a vinyl kind of, and it's even kind of padded a little bit, placemat. And I just thought it was really cute, and you could use the wording for different things, and probably use some of the other strips later on for maybe a frame or something. So I'm cutting the emblem that you can see there, which is basically a fancy way of saying it's a fleur-de-lis, just a fancier version. So I hope you're enjoying this so far, and I thank you so much for watching Ivycreates. It means the world to me, it really does. You guys are fantastic for spending your time with me, and I hope that you get some enjoyment and enlightenment out of these things, and know that you don't really have to be, this amazing artist to be able to put some really nice looks together for your home and to make your own artwork. As you can see, I'm just kind of playing around with the words, and that's just on the back of it. Actually, you can see the hook there is on the side even, and I don't really necessarily need the hook, but because it is a raised frame, it'll fit right up against the wall if you want it to. So that's another picture of the board, and you can do it different directions, different ways. And I like things that have multiple purposes, and so that you can use them for different seasons. I tend to change my mind a lot about a lot of stuff, so having that option to be able to change up things is makes me happy. It's a fun thing. You don't get bored. Stores re-merchandise and change their showrooms for a reason, because people tend to get bored pretty quickly with how things look, and then they won't shop as much. This is another piece of board that I found, and I thought that was a great saying, and it fits perfectly in the frame as well. I could use something like that. Besides, it's a great mantra. And here I have this is another placemat that I found at the Dollar Tree, and this one, is really thick, surprisingly. So I was just going to cut out the truck because it's a good fall thing. I don't necessarily need all the things in the background. I just wanted to have the little red truck, and I could use that instead of having to draw one out or print one out or anything like that. And it's a good size. The placemats have really good sizes for those. So you can see now how it would fit on the board, and the background make it different. So then I found these beautiful yellow napkins, and I had a wood cutout star. And this is all part of the process of me not really knowing what I want to do with this background board. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a lot of things. So the first thing I did with this is I had painted it the Caviar Black Dixie Belle, and then I painted Cotton Dixie Belle on the other side. And so I decided that I wanted to, this napkin came from Tuesday morning, and I'm separating the front layer from the back layer, and I wanted to Mod Podge it to the MDF board of a fleur-de-lis, and so I can use that maybe on my board. I used a bunch in this project. I use a bunch of different wood cutouts and MDF board cutouts. I will say about the MDF, it's not my favorite because you can paint it and everything, but you don't have that many chances to paint it because it starts to get kind of soggy after a while and too soft to do anything with. So I prefer the wood cutouts, and for several reasons. So here you can see that I took the back off of the napkins, and I'm going to lay it out on my fleur-de-lis, and then I'm going to coat it with Mod Podge. So as I was saying, the cutouts you have for very many reasons. Besides the fact that if you're not a great person who can draw grade or do anything like that, if you have something that you particularly like, you can use a wood cutout and you can trace it onto your surface, and then you can go from there. So you don't have to, reinvent the wheel to make art. You can just take your wooden cutout and use it as a pattern. And another good thing about wooden cutouts, if you decide to use them for Christmas, if you have a really large Christmas tree, you can use wooden cutouts for Christmas tree ornaments. And they can be any shape. Now, I happen to live in the South. Please subscribe, like, click the bell. But I live in the South, and I'm about 45 minutes from New Orleans, and basically everything around here has fleur-de-lis because the French settled us in 1699. And the fleur-de-lis is a big-time symbol of French heritage, and it's got life, perfection, and love as meaning. And it's also got meaning of the Holy Trinity, which is the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. There's a lot of reasons for why they consider that, like the city symbol and the area, the French symbol. So it may be different in your area. You may need a Texas star, you might need a cowboy hat. You might need an apple or something different. But you use whatever is popular to your area, and you can use it just like this on that little piece of board. And you can see here that I'm kind of just patting down where the napkin goes. I had coated my MDF real well with the Mod Podge, and I'm patting it down everywhere to make sure that it's got good connection. And from time to time I'll add a little bit extra Mod Podge on top just to make sure that all of the surface is connected. You can't pull on it very much because the napkins, when you say paper thin, they are so super thin. And you can see in the little corner down there that I actually did pull the paper a little bit too much, and some of the white shone through. And the thing about doing the napkins is whatever is behind the napkin as far as your base color is going to show through to the napkin. So please check me out on Facebook at Deanna AC. And of course, follow all my videos. And so here you can see I'm still patting it down, trying to make sure that everything's there. And now I want to dry it off some so that it gives the napkin a little bit more stability. And it'll tighten up some. And I will tell you, once you get your napkin in place, it's there. It's not going anywhere. So, as far as you can't take it up and put it down again, it's there. You got one shot and that's it. So you can see I kind of dried it off a bit so that it would be a little bit better. And I'm going to cut some of the excess off just so I can more easily work it. You can see it kind of tightened up a little bit around the edges. And this is a beautiful napkin. Tuesday Morning has beautiful napkins, and I have a whole drawer full of them, and I might only use one out of a pack, but I have a lifetime supply of napkins if I should ever need them. So this one has beautiful goldfinch on it. I believe that's what that is, and some sunflowers, and it's got the, you know, Parisian writing kind of thing, and it actually says something about British on it. And I just thought for fall that would be a really awesome look, very soft and yellowy, and you know, very fall looking for decor for your house. And it's just really soft. It's got a couple of bumblebees and a couple of other things, and you can see right here I found a little piece of bumblebee on the napkin, and I'm trying to figure out a placement, and you can see that you can actually Mod Podge over what you've already Mod Podged. It does make the colors a little bit darker, so that's a little bee that I found. I was actually looking for more bee type honey kind of napkins, and I couldn't find much, believe it or not. I mean, Tuesday Morning was almost completely out of stock on napkins, which is a rarity, but they didn't have that many this time. So I do like the bird, though. I think the bird and the sunflowers are very pretty. And you can see I'm going to add, over there where I had kind of messed up a little bit, I wanted to also add another piece of sunflower. And so I'm just going to Mod Podge that on top of what I already had Mod Podged. Now, that's the thing you don't see very often, but you know, layering pieces of napkin and layering pieces of magazine and stuff, that's pretty commonplace, and it was many years ago when Mod Podge was a huge thing back when I was a child. But it's, you know, it's common to layer and put them all together. And the thing that I like to do with them most is to blend it all together. And you'll tear the edges and things like that, and you can see it just kind of adds a little extra something where you might need it, make it a little different, and you really don't get the gist of this until it starts to be, you start to take it apart. Alright, so I'm going to dry that piece and tighten it up. Please let me know in the comments below that if you like this design, if which one of the things would you like to see most, because closer to the end here I'm going to show you several items, wood cutouts and other items that I used on this this decoration. And I don't really want to call it a sign, because it's not. It's more of decor. It's more of an art piece for your house. And I've got several wooden cutouts that I've did, and let me know if you would like to see them done in different ways. What can you do with this? And I'm really good at taking whatever you've got in your house and making it into something else, or rearranging it so that it's staged and done differently. Years ago I used to work in a furniture showroom, and I would have to literally figure out different ways to dress up different furniture items. Say, like, for instance, if you have a living room set, a sofa, a love seat, and a chair, and you want to decorate it, and it's not selling really well, so you might move the position within the store, and then again you might change all the pictures, all the lamps, all the accessories that go with it to make it sell better, or just to give it a fresh new look. And so, you know, do the same thing with your home. You can always change out things that are already in your home. You don't have to buy anything, and you just go around, and maybe the lamps that are in your bedroom look better in your living room, or something to that effect. Get everything, you know, that coordinates throughout the house, and put it together and see what you come up with. So you can see I'm starting to break off the excess paper on the fleur-de-lis MDF board, and I'm just trying to clean up those edges. You want to break it in a downward kind of motion. If you're going to do that, you can also use a sanding sponge, but do it in a downward motion. Don't pull up on it so that it doesn't pull off of the MDF where the Mod Podge is. I'm just trying to break it up to just to be able to get it to where I can put the sanding sponge on it or a sanding paper. So another little thing about design that a lot of people don't realize is that you usually don't use even numbers. Odd numbers are better. So if you're doing a little shelf grouping, something sitting on a shelf, try to do it in numbers of like 3 to 5 or 7. Don't do 2 items or 4 items. Do 3 items or 5 items sitting on a shelf and kind of group them in little groups. Don't sit them all out evenly. Another big one that I see people do all the time that drives me insane is they'll have like a sofa against the wall, and the picture above the sofa is like 4 feet higher than the sofa, and it looks disconnected and disjointed. You know, it's not all connected. So you want to make sure that your pictures are closer to your furniture than you would really think that you need to be. So only put a small area of space between, say, like a back picture and the sofa back. Alright, so here I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing with this decor, this art piece that I'm doing, and what else can I do to make it pretty, you know. So sweep off the counter just a little. Alright, sanding the edges just to get off again the excess. You don't have to be super careful with how you sand. You're getting the excess off of the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little rough looking around the edges. It's not going to hurt anything. It's still going to give you that nice look to it anyways, because this is, after all, a very aged fleur-de-lis, and it's going to be antique looking, which is, you know, that just goes with everything that's around here. You know, I do live on a beach town. I do live about 10 minutes from the beach, and I'm also 45 minutes from New Orleans. And so I did live over in New Orleans proper for 10 years or so. But our style is, I don't know if you want to call it really coastal, or if you want to call it more antique. You know, we have around here, we really do have like a love of the old and the antique and history. History is a big thing for us. You know, a lot of folks, the rest of the country don't really understand, but I don't know. It's a lot of history. Now, with the fleur-de-lis in particular, even with our French heritage, even though D'Iberville landed here in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast in 1699, I know a lot of the French came from Canada. I'm sorry, were Canadians, and they came from up there after they were kicked out of Canada, and they threw them down to South Louisiana, and then the United States bought them. So Louisiana is a very interesting place. It's the only place that still falls under Napoleonic law, and with that can be a kind of crazy thing. It still has parishes and not counties, meaning pretty much if you live in Louisiana, you're Catholic, whether you want to be or not. And there are many different religions there, don't get me wrong. It's just everything according to you know, holidays and law and everything has to pretty much do with Catholic religion, which I found out, you know, when I was growing up, there weren't that many diverse religions around. So anyways, I'm now taking my gold, which is the Royal Gold Americana, and I'm just going around the edges of my fleur-de-lis to give it, and I love adding gold shimmer to things, or, you know, I do like sparkles and I do like gold. I don't use them all the time, but I try to sneak them in there when I can. So I go around the edges, and you'll also notice that the nap can be in Mod Podged. If you do this yourself, it'll have little crinkles in it, and you have to accept that it's not going to be perfectly flat. it's going to have little crinkles in it. And the crinkles are really good if you're kind of taking a dry brush, like I'm taking a drier brush here and dry brushing some gold on. And then if it looks too thick, I just kind of spread it around with my finger. And so where the crinkles come up and you spread it around, the gold is going to hit the tops of that, and it just adds a little bit of elegance to it. It's really, really pretty. It also takes this MDF from looking like a flat piece and makes it look like it's almost round or rounded. I needed to go ahead and get my recording done tonight because tomorrow I get oral surgery. Oh, yay, yay, yay. So I won't be talking for a few days. So I'm getting my recording done for this week, and then I'll go from there. You can see I'm just kind of hitting very lightly with a very dry brush, you know, all over the fleur-de-lis with some gold. And it's royal gold. It's not, it's Americana folk art royal gold, and I think it's all made by Deco Art, to be truthful. I don't know. But anyways, it has a special color to it. It's kind of transparent, and it's just a really pretty gold. So now I'm going to go through, and I was trying to figure out what am I going to do, what else can I do, and I wanted to antique it even more. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it a whole lot. So I'm adding water to my very, very dark brown Americana. It's like coffee bean, I believe. And I'm just adding that, and as you can see, I put it in little paint pots and I shake it really good because I want it super thin, because I'm using this as like an antiquing glaze, not so much as a paint, but a glaze. And the thinner it is, the better in that situation. So this is just going to further add a little bit more dimension and depth to the fleur-de-lis to make it look more rounded and less like a flat piece of material. And I'm just, when I'm putting this on, I'm putting it around the edges and then blending it out with my finger a little bit, just to make sure that it doesn't, the edges don't look too hard. It makes it look very old world. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I really thank you for watching. It has been a joy and a pleasure to be able to do this for you. Please subscribe and check out some of my other things that I've done, and you know, watch for the next few minutes to see all the different options that you can do. Here I was trying to, and this is always a good idea, is to lay out your piece and try it several different ways to see how you might like it, and that way you can have all the options, you can see all the options. Now, all in total, this probably cost me under $20, and it looks very high-end and really good when I put it up on my wall. So this is just going to show you, that's, you know, what it ends up looking like. But I do have other options. There are other things. Like I had said in the description, there are about 9 different ways you can do this. Now this is the back side of the MDF, and I used some Dixie Belle Caviar, and I'd painted it, and then I went over it with chalk just to kind of straighten it up, and it makes it basically a chalkboard. And so I was just demonstrating that for you. If I wanted to turn it over and use the back side, I could do that, and I could play around with the chalk and write words or do whatever I wanted to. And that's another option for what it could be on this one piece of board with this one MDF piece. The next thing I've got is a mermaid. And I just painted her again with the Caviar Dixie Belle. And you could do so many different things. You could paint the wood back with a sea color, you know, oceans or something, and then you could paint her full of sparkles and glitter and all kinds of glam, or leave her just black and make it simple. I love silhouettes, especially for the sunset. Now this is my it was a placemat again that I cut the truck out of the placemat. And you see how cute that looks just there, and I might put like say a family sign underneath it, or a faith sign or something to that effect. The other pieces that I cut out of the other placemat. Now here's a cutout of a dolphin. You might take that wood back behind there and paint it like a sunset, and then you have your dolphin and you can flip him over and he's black, and that might be all that you see is a dolphin jumping out of water at a sunset. It's very, very simple to do, and if you think you would like me to show you how, you can always leave comments in the section below here, and I'll be glad to work something up. So if there's something in particular, like I have all these different options. Let's say this tree here, we wanted to do a family tree. I painted it black, of course, because I like the black as simple against the white. However, you could also change this out for fall. You can flip it over and paint that tree in some oranges and reds and yellows and make it a fall thing. Doesn't have to be just one thing. And that little tree, by the way, is like a stand. It fits into another piece of a tree, so it makes like a whole tree stand. I don't remember exactly where I got it. I thought it was the Dollar Tree, maybe not. But it is wood, and it is a wood cutout. Maybe Michael's, who knows. And you know, it does give you've got the little family tree thing going on, or you can use it for something else. You can change it out. So I said I like to lay it out and see which way I'm gonna like it best. And these were all pieces that I cut out of placemats. And you can tell by the way that you put things, you know, the different contrast, how it's going to look good or not, by the way that it contrasts in there. Now this is also a star that I'd done with Mod Podge. You could put several different size stars. You could do things like that. Like I was saying, you have all the different options for decorating or making it look different. And I used the same napkin on the star that I did on the MDF fleur-de-lis. So you can see those things there. And if, let's just say I had a particular home theme that I wanted to do Christmas with, I could easily do the star and the fleur-de-lis and all of those, use those as giant Christmas ornaments on a giant Christmas tree, and put a little gold on them. Very, very elegant. So, let's see. And I'm just kind of playing around again with signage to see what I might like my little art piece to say. Just different ways to style it. And you'll see in a few minutes that I have come up with kind of a solution to do things. So I settled on, of course, the fleur-de-lis, and using the love cut out from the placemat. And those are all the different options that I had just right there that I'd painted black on my cutouts. And any one of those I could trace onto the wood, or just use them as they were and attach them to the wood. Now, my fleur-de-lis and my little love sign, because I want to change this out and I really do want to use this frame again, I'm not going to glue them to the frame. I'm actually going to take some double-sided Velcro. You know, I was going to take that, well, not double-sided, but take Velcro. And I got the Velcro from the Dollar Tree, and guess what? It doesn't have a sticky back. So what I ended up doing is using my glue gun and gluing the Velcro to the back of the fleur-de-lis and to the back of the little cutout. So you'll see that in just a second. And when you do that, now I'll have an attached, and I cut it so that it fit right in the little wrap around the fleur-de-lis. So let's say in the future that I wanted to use either side, I could probably use either side and just use, you know, another piece of the Velcro, and I could just make it look fancy. Super fancy. So what I'll do is put my fleur-de-lis in my frame, and I glue both sides down and use the Velcro as the attachment, so that when I want to, I can peel off that fleur-de-lis, I can peel off that sign and use another sign or another cutout and just put the Velcro on the back of the other cutout and stick it to what's already there on the sign. Just another way to extend your decor without having to go out and buy new stuff or create all new. You can change it out with the seasons. Like I said, this is going to be a fall thing for me, and I'm using the Velcro piece, just gluing the Velcro to the actual sign. So when I get ready to pull the little cutout off, I can just rip it off. Velcro is a wonderful thing. Y'all are absolutely going to love this. I just thought it was very, very elegant, very pretty. Alright, got my Velcro on there, you can see, and you don't see it from the front. Very well hidden. Just going to stick it in there in that frame, and this particular fleur-de-lis fit just perfectly in the frame, so that was a good thing. Thank y'all for watching. Please subscribe and please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this, if you enjoyed it, if there's anything else you would like me to do, if you want me to paint you a sunset, if you want me to do dolphins. I can get more in depth into painting if you want. I can get in depth in floral design. Whatever you want, I can do for you. So just leave me a comment and subscribe and like and click that notification bell so that you get future videos from me. I hope that you've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed doing it, and I just really think it was very elegant and beautiful, and it makes it look it's just stunning to me. I love it. So I hope you like it as much